Welcome to another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and if you're here tonight and you're rocking with Ring Walk Boxing Podcast, I want to say thanks to everybody out here that is supporting my channel. If you can, hit that thumbs up on the YouTube screen. Hit thumbs up for me. I have to always try to give, well, first of all, I got to say thank you to the Lord above for keeping me in good health and keeping, hopefully, everybody else is in good health. And I want to say shout outs to my Zone 15 family for sure. All of my Cincinnati family, Cincinnati, Ohio. Shout outs to the young champ P3 and his pops. P3 and P30 Dyson, big shout outs. Shout outs to cousin DJ, Bunk, Brandon, Mario, Albert, Dirty Red, big cousin Rico Carter, shout outs. My brother Spark Powell, my Woodlawn brother, and Stinky. Shout outs to Stinky and my Woodlawn family as well. Woodlawn, Lockland, Lincoln Heights, my Zone 15 family for sure. Cousin Shell Smith, Mel Smith, shout outs. And please hit that thumbs up. And you can share the link if you're on. I'm going to share this to FB. So if you're on my Facebook, when I post the link, please share it. Tell some friends to check me out, please. Follow me on my Twitter page. I'm trying to get that Twitter to grow. Follow me on my TikTok page. I'm trying to get that to grow as well. And for those who do follow me on on Facebook, I did make a post on TikTok. I made this post on Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter because it holds dear and close to my heart. The reason why I'm such a big boxing fanatic, for those who see, that's when I was about 4 years old with my hand out, sitting on my dad's lap. Well, that picture was around roughly 1984. So I was about 4 years old. And I think that day they said I was being whiny and, you know, kind of acting out somewhat. So the picture person, I believe, said something like, put your hand out and catch the ball. So that's kind of why my hand was like this when I was sitting on Pop's lap. But yeah, my Pops is a big motivation behind why I am a huge boxing fan. And a Mike Tyson fan. Shout outs to you, salute, cousin Rico, salute, Rico Carter, Zone 15. What's up, fam? Sweet Jones, what's good, fam? What's good, Bobo? That's cousin Rico Carter above you in the chat. I love having my family showing that support and rocking with the movement, man. And like I said, hit that thumbs up. Make sure to hit that thumbs up though. Help out the algorithm. And to all my Facebook viewers, I'm posting, yes, sir, Bird Street down the hill, Zone 15. I'm going to post this link right here on my FB page so you know I'm going live. All you got to do is tap the link. But make sure you tap the link. All right, y'all. So, oh yeah. Don't let me. I gotta say shout outs to my cousin, my big cuz, Shorty Price. He's definitely always supportive of my channel, and in the same regard, I'm always trying to support his channel as well. So big shout outs to Shorty Price and Wiz White. Uh, we knew him as Wizard when we were real young, but now we call him Wiz. So shout outs to them guys. Zone 15 for sure. Um, so let's talk about these fights from last night. The MVP, the women's card on the zone. So Stephanie Hahn did her thing, man. Now after the performance of last night, I can definitely say Holly Holm, no need to hang her head down. She was doing her thing in the, I believe, UFC or MMA. But being that she had been in this level of a contact sport where you're striking and all that stuff, she's done her thing. So all I can say is she's at the age of 44. She has nothing to feel ashamed about. She needs to go ahead and enjoy her retirement, maybe be a boxing commentator, maybe work with the youth that are upcoming and doing the, if they choose to do MMA or if they choose to do boxing, maybe she can be a fitness coach or something like that. But at the age of 44, her performance this weekend, it started to show her age. But like I said, Holly Holm is definitely a vet. So let's say salute to Holly Holm. And let's say salute to the winner, Stephanie Hahn, who was at 135 pounds. So she defended her title, and that's a good thing for sure. Now Hahn, she was very quick. You know what I'm saying? Her counter punch, and she was very calculated with her the way she was pressing her action towards Holly Holm. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't being reckless or nothing like that. She was being very, very calculated. And a lot of times, a lot of boxers slip up. They're not being calculated. They're being reckless. They're being wild, or they're just too antsy, or they want the knockout too bad. That can be a recipe for disaster in some cases. So you just want to make sure you just, you know what I'm saying? You be very calculated, very strategic, and sometimes just let the knockout come. Don't try to force a knockout. Sometimes you gotta let the knockout come. Now on that same card, we had Ebony Bridges versus Alexis Arizia, a bantamweight ladies contest. Now Ebony is out of Australia, and she hadn't been in the ring for like 2 years, man. So y'all gotta understand, 2 years is a long time to not be in the ring. 1 year is a long time to not be in the ring. 9 or 10 months is a long time. So you gotta figure that ring rust is going to be part of her issue. So I don't think that it was a situation where she was underestimating her opponent. She was just going to be ring rusty. And now that she's had a fight, she just has to stay consistent. Try to get a fight every 8 months or something like that. So salute to Alexis Arizia, the winner of that fight last night. In my personal opinion, from last night's female boxing card, the best fight on that card to me was Crystal Rosado versus Tania Walters. They was getting it in. Now Tania, she wasn't backing down, only 5'1". And Crystal Rosado's not much taller. She's 5'3", so she got her by like 2 inches. You could see the desire and the motivation in Tania Walters. You know what I'm saying? But Rosado's footwork, her angles, her hand speed, she was just all wrong for Tania last night. She had the quicker hand speed, the more educated feet, so she was able to kind of zip around her, you know what I'm saying, and maneuver and kind of have her way with her, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, hey, got to give it up to Tania. She went, you know what I'm saying, she went the distance, but she just didn't have an answer. She didn't have an answer for all those counter punches and all those flurries. Every time she threw a punch, she got hit with three. Every time she threw two punches, she got hit with four and five. So, Crystal Rosado is somebody I definitely want to start following her a lot closer. She's looking like she's gonna be doing some things. You know what I'm saying? And actually, she had one loss, so now she'll be at 8 wins and one loss and no draws. So that's what's up with Crystal Rosado. The main event, it was a good fight, but I was hoping to see a more defensively sound and a more defensively responsible Amanda Serrano. You know, she has a 65% knockout ratio, whereas her opponent, Raina Tillis, had a 38% knockout ratio. And her opponent, Raina, only had 14 fights, 13 wins, one loss. Amanda Serrano has had twice the amount of fights. So I thought it would be a situation of the more experienced fighter versus the less experienced fighter, which it was. But there's a lot of things I saw I didn't like on the side of, even though she won, Amanda Serrano, I felt like she kept dropping that right hand, and when she kept having her right hand hung low, she kept catching that left from Raina. She kept catching her. You know, it's like put your guard up some, move your head some. She wasn't doing that, and she kept catching the same repeated shot. So I saw signs of swelling on her eye, but they say it might have came from a headbutt. I got to watch the fight back. I thought it came from the same punch over and over and over, but it could have been a clash of heads that caused that because in one of those fights, I don't remember if it was the Amanda Serrano versus Reina. One fighter was a southpaw and the other was orthodox. So a lot of times when the southpaw left-handed fighter fights the right-handed fighter, there's a lot of clashing of heads. And also, if the southpaw fighter doesn't know how to move in the right direction, how to circle, they can catch that right hand straight down the middle from the orthodox fighter. So, since we're kind of speaking on a right-handed fighter and a southpaw fighter, why not talk about Deontay Wilder out of Alabama, USA? Deontay Wilder, potential fight this year versus Alexander Usyk. I was going back and forth with my homeboy from up in New York, who now lives in Ohio, and we always have a really good boxing talk. You know, he's a very smart brother when it comes to this boxing. And we were talking about Wilder and Usyk, and he was saying, "Don't be surprised if Wilder could win." Now, don't get me wrong, I lean towards Usyk to beat Deontay Wilder. So, you know me, I'm not going to be biased or whatever. I'm not going to just be like, I don't like a certain fighter. So if I don't like a certain fighter, I'm gonna say everything to go against that fighter, if you know what I'm saying. This is a situation where I'm not really, I like Usyk, but if I'm keeping it real, I've always been an Anthony Joshua fan, so I've always been loyal and rocking with AJ. But I don't have any qualms with Usyk or Wilder. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really a Wilder fan only because of his style. I like the fact he could knock out guys, but I always wanted to see him do a little more. I understand he's not going to be the most technical fighter. He started late. I get that. But I just wish he did more than try to land a straight right hand. I wish he would try to do other things, like finish your opponent maybe with an uppercut. Finish your opponent with the left hook, even a body shot. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see Wilder. I think he has more, and he just chose to limit himself to being that guy known as the right hand cannon. But being that he possesses such a right hand with so much supernatural power, it would have benefited him to learn how to add to that. You already know you can throw your right hand. What else are you lacking? Like, what aren't you as good at? Why don't y'all work on them areas? You know what I'm saying? I feel like with a boxer, you want to try to be the most complete boxer you can, defensively and offensively. You just don't want to have a strong point, because as you step up in opposition, as we saw with Wilder, and he fought people like Tyson Fury, who was bigger than him already, and who was using like borderline dirty tactics with leaning on him and trying to drain him and headlocking him. He really didn't have an answer for him. But in the case of fighting Usyk, there's a lot that Fury was able to get off and do. I don't feel that Usyk would do, because styles make fights. You figure Fury claims he's 6'9", and he probably weighed a good 270 pounds. So he's outweighing Wilder when they fought by 30, maybe 40 pounds. Well, you figure Usyk is a smaller heavyweight. He came from cruiserweight, moved to heavyweight. Wilder's a small heavyweight. So if we look at it for what it is, Deontay Wilder and Alexander Usyk would both come in and probably weigh about 225 pounds apiece. So they will be evenly, matched as far as their weight. Wilder's roughly 6'7", so he's not a lot taller. He might be maybe 2 inches taller, 3 inches taller. So he's a few inches taller, but he's still the same weight pretty much as Usyk, if he's fighting at his fighting weight. That being said, we all know Usyk's a mover. He's a southpaw. He moves laterally, and that's what makes him special, is the fact that he's a very defensive-minded fighter. He's kind of a perfect balance of defense and offense. Whereas Wilder, he ain't there to try to win on points and win rounds. He's trying to land that punch and end the night. So that to me will still be it would be a lit fight. It would be a good fight to see. Like I said, I would definitely lean to the more complete fighter like Usyk. But at the same time, if Wilder lands that right hand, it could be over. And if he's not going to telegraph his right hand, hey, that could be problems. That could be problems for sure. So let me know what y'all think in the chat. If Wilder and Usyk do fight, how will it play out? Let me know. Let me know what y'all think. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that Shakur Stevenson card here too, in just a second as well. So next weekend, Ajit Kabiel will be fighting on January the 10th. Ajit Kabiel versus Damian Kimba. I'm going to stick to what I've been saying all along. I see Ajit Kabiel winning this fight, and he'll probably stop him between round 7 and 9. Happy New Year's and greetings to you, fam. I appreciate you. Cuzzo, thanks for following through. Now I have to this week, between now and my next show, I kind of got to see what's going on with David Benavidez. I'm definitely a fan of David Benavidez. I want to see what his next move is going to be because I know he wants all the smoke, so it don't really matter. He's not being a selective guy. He wants Dmitry Bivol, and he wants Arthur Beterbiev. Possibly even will move up to cruiserweight. So, yeah, shout outs to David Benavidez, aka the Mexican Monster, as Mike Tyson calls him. Shout outs to David Benavidez. All right, let's talk a little bit about that Ajit Kabiel and Damian Kimba next weekend. The way I see it is Ajit Kabiel, and I want to say the fight's going to be over in Germany, but Ajit Kabiel, as we've seen in the past when he fought Magmadov and when he fought Zhilei Zhang, he's very methodical and strategic in his approach when he fights his opponents. He's very cerebral. He's very smart. So he's not the type of fighter like most of these guys nowadays. Majority of heavyweights are head hunting fighters. They don't. It's like the art of going to the body is gone at the door. You don't see how you used to see Mike Tyson chopping the body down. Now you see all these guys being head hunters. They're not really setting up the knockout punch. They're just trying to go for a knockout. Well, the thing I like about Ajit Kabiel, he's different. He loves going to the body. He's a body snatcher. You know, they call Dillian White the body snatcher, but I feel like Ajit Kabiel is really, quiet as kept, the true body snatcher of the heavyweight division. Let me know what you think in the chat. And shout outs to my guys over in UK and all around the world that do follow Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. Jamie Go, Paul Keynes, and Neil Batterby over in UK. Salute. Now Ajit Kabiel, like I said, he's a very smart guy. And I can see him systematically and in a calculative way slowly breaking down Damian Kimba. If you're a taller fighter than him, he is smart enough to know I'm going to chop down this tree. You know, you normally chop down a tree, you do it in a strategic way. Well, that's how he's going to do when he fights Damian Kimba. And I feel like as the rounds go on, and as he starts to like turn up a little bit more and a little bit more, I feel like he's going to go digging into the body. Hooks to the liver, hooks to the rib cage, rights and lefts, ripping them in the inside. And eventually, it's going to be too much. Damian Kimba is going to do like most of these guys and probably drop to a knee. Because once you start taking those body shots over and over in the same spot, it does take a toll on you. So these fighters need to realize, especially these heavyweights, is that don't neglect going to your opponent's body. A lot of times, if it's a fighter who can actually really move, you're going to have a harder time trying to land a headshot. but you have more of an opportunity to possibly land those body shots. And you want to slow down the faster fighter anyway. Or if he's a taller fighter, you want to kind of break him down. So commit to the body when you're in that ring. All right, so that's on January 10th of next week. Y'all tune in and check out Ajit Kabiel versus Damian Kimba. All right, so let's talk about the January 24th fight. On January 24th, which is about 3 weeks from now, you're going to have Moses Ntuma, the up and coming UK fighter, versus the rough and tough with a good chin, Jermaine Franklin out of Saginaw, Michigan, Midwest, USA. I like this matchup as well. And one thing I like about Jermaine Franklin, he's always up for a tough fight. We saw him dog it out with Dillian White. We saw him in the trenches with Dillian White. We saw him take some big shots from Dillian, the body snatcher White. We also saw him take some big shots from Anthony Joshua. So I feel like with this Moses Ntuma fight, the main factor could be the age. You know what I'm saying? The young age of Moses Ntuma. Use that to his advantage. So use his youth. Use the fact he's a left-handed fighter that most guys find it kind of complicated to fight. And I think he's going to be, of course, the faster on his feet and the faster hands. Although Jermaine Franklin is not necessarily slow with his hands, his feet are, not like anything crazy. You know what I mean? I think this fight would go the distance to the scorecards, and I could see Moses Ntuma getting in his rounds. But Moses Ntuma does have a lot of power, and his power is different than Dillian White. It's different than Anthony Joshua. It's kind of like that. It's really hard to explain, but pretty much he's hitting you with the punch you don't see. In most cases, Moses Ntuma is hitting you with the punch you don't see. And that's normally when people get knocked out. It's the punch they don't see because he's so athletic and he's fast. So he has no problem getting in range. He has no problem, you know what I'm saying, cutting off the ring to get in range of his opponent. So it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a lot of toe-to-toe action too. So make sure y'all tune in January 24th. Moses Ntuma versus Jermaine Franklin. And I think Ezra Taylor out of UK is going to be on that card too. I've been trying to kind of follow Ezra Taylor as well. I want to say he's under the he's being trained by Malik Scott out of Philadelphia, USA. All right, so we got it going down next week, January 10th. And then again on January 24th, you got Moses Ntuma doing his thing against Jermaine Franklin. And then towards the end of the month, there's a Pro Box TV fight. I'm not too privy to these guys, but I at least want to make an announcement. On Pro Box TV, it's going to be Brian Flores versus Starling Castillo. And that's going to be on Pro Box TV on January the 30th. So I believe that'll be like the last Friday of this month. So that'll be cool. We get to watch boxing on Pro Box TV on YouTube. These are free fights. And then the day after, January 31st, is the Shakur Stevenson card. So it's going to be a weekend of boxing towards the end of the month. So let's talk a little bit about this Shakur Stevenson card. All right, so on the undercard of Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, we're going to have Carlos Adames versus Austin Ammo Williams. Carlos Adames record 24-1-1. Ammo Williams record 19-1-0. If I have to make a prediction, I'm gonna have to go with Carlos. I feel like Carlos Adames will beat Ammo Williams. He could stop him. I haven't made up my mind as far as is Carlos gonna stop him or does it go to a decision. But I'm gonna think on that because that fight happens on the 31st. So I'm gonna take my time and go back again and review just to kind of have a final take on it because I might change my mind. But right now, I do feel like Carlos Adames will win. Now on that same card, Shushu Carrington, he's had 16 fights and no losses and no draws. Shushu Carrington is a young 28-year-old fighter out of New York, and he'll be fighting Carlos Castro, who is at 30 wins, 3 losses, and no draws at the age of 31. So you got two guys, one who's a little more experienced, who's been in there 33 fights, versus a guy who's had 16 fights. So he's had twice as many fights as Shushu Carrington, but Shushu Carrington is definitely, he's hungry. He's the up-and-coming hungry fighter. You know, sure, he's had 16 wins, and this might be, you know, a tough task ahead, but I think he'll hold it down because he understands that this is a big opportunity and it's for a title shot. So I feel like Shushu Carrington is he's gonna come out victorious on the 31st of January. Now another good fight on this card. Keyshawn Davis out of Norfolk, Virginia. Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz. Keyshawn Davis, 13 wins, no losses, no draws. He's also known as the businessman. Jermaine Ortiz, 22-1. Jermaine Ortiz is not a slouch, and I don't necessarily think that Keyshawn Davis is overlooking him. I did see something on Mill City as I was scrolling through YouTube. I didn't actually have a chance to watch the video, but it might have been Greg Hackett or somebody, but they were saying on the title, it said that Keyshawn Davis may overlook Jermaine Ortiz. Now, just reading that, I would have to disagree. I feel like Keyshawn Davis understands after the fact that he missed weight before and all that controversy happened and all that. Right now, he's back and he's in impeccable shape. They got the pictures circulating with him and Shakur Stevenson. They've been working out in camp together because they're both going to be fighting on the same card. Keyshawn Davis will be on the undercard. I believe he'll be the co-main event for the main event. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna say Keyshawn Davis wins this, man, but Jermaine Ortiz has skills. He has skills. He's smart. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's gonna be a good match. Now, I'm gonna have to kind of like sit on this a little bit too, because I'm leaning towards Keyshawn Davis to win. But like I said, Jermaine Ortiz is far from a slouch. So we gonna see on the 31st. But that, before the actual fight comes around, I'm gonna sit back and reflect a little bit more and try to see if my opinion changes. But this is definitely a big step up for Keyshawn Davis. Now, kind of in the mix of all this, at the same time, Richardson Hitchens was on Twitter, and he was basically saying that initially he had signed to fight Jermaine Ortiz. This is Richard Hitchison on Twitter, but he said something got switched up last minute, and he has a better fight coming up very soon at 140. And he said he can't wait to defend his title. He apologized to the fans, and he said, sorry, it was out of my control. So, Africa, aka Richardson Hitchens, aka Africa. Africa is a formidable fighter. But does he maybe gas himself up as people are saying he does? Like, does he think he's more than what he actually will turn out to be? Like, shout outs to Frank Martin. I'm a Frank Martin fan, and he pretty much said that since he beat George Kambosos, you can't tell him nothing. So a lot of people don't look at Richardson Hitchens in the same light that he looks at himself. But he clapped back. You know what I'm saying? Hitchens said, "Hey, they can all get this smoke." So he'll fight. I guess whoever he's going to fight next, and he's willing to fight Frank Martin. He's willing to fight these guys at 140. I'm guessing he'll be ready to fight Keyshawn Davis should he get past Jermaine Ortiz, or fight the winner of that fight. So yeah, boxing is starting off on the right foot right now for 2026. A lot of people complain about boxing, but actually it's doing pretty good. They are getting some of these fights that we want to see. They're making them happen. Now, the main card for that January 31st, the main event is Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. Now, a lot of people have their feelings when it comes to Teofimo Lopez. Some of the things he said that was controversial. He said some very controversial things. I don't have to necessarily rehash what he said. You could probably Google it, look up Teofimo Lopez controversy. You'll probably see something. So for us that knows what's going on, we know what he said, and some of the things he said that was not necessarily ethical or whatever. But when it comes to him as an actual fighter, putting aside some of the antics and some of the things he said, he's a good fighter. He's athletic. He's a good counterpuncher, and he's not slow. Now Shakur Stevenson, he's not slow as well. He's athletic. He's probably the slightly better boxer, but As Roy Jones said, shout outs to the legend Roy Jones Jr. He said it best. Teofimo Lopez has to gamble. He has to be willing to gamble when he's fighting Shakur Stevenson. He can't be too apprehensive. He can't just be sitting there waiting to land counter shots and waiting to answer to everything that Shakur does. He's going to have to press the action some. He's going to have to step to Shakur Stevenson and bring the fight to Shakur. He's going to want to have to try to back him up against the ropes. Try to get him in the corner as much as he can. Keep him on his back foot and don't get careless. Go to the body as much as he can. But we did see in the fight when Shakur fought William Zepeda, when he was against the rope, he was at his most vulnerable position. So he's at his most vulnerable position when his back is against the ropes or if he's in the corner. That being said, he's going to need to take some of the things that William Zepeda had as strong points, some of the areas of where William Zepeda was successful, and implement that into his blueprint and his game plan when they meet in that ring January the 31st, 2026. Let's go. I'm looking forward to that fight. It's a 50-50 fight. And that's pretty much what I've been sticking with. Now, I don't know what y'all think in your prediction. Cuzzo, what do you think? As far as the main event, Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, Sweet Jones. If you have a prediction, let me know. And to everybody who, if you watch this on the playback, please hit thumbs up, subscribe. What's good, Mike Ware? What's good? What's going on? You said Shakur all day? Man, that's what a lot of people feel, cuzzo. They feel like Shakur is going to beat Teofimo Lopez. And don't get me wrong, Shakur is the better all around as far as like the technical aspect of it. Shakur is that guy. But I don't think you want to overlook. You don't want to overlook Teofimo Lopez either. So we're gonna definitely see what's going down. What's going on, Mike Ware? You said if T.O. don't have a game plan, Shakur will outbox him all day. And that's the thing, man. He got to have a game plan. And he can't be too patient. He can't just be sitting around trying to be the guy to answer to every punch or every couple punches Shakur throws. He's trying to catch him with counter punches. Some of the times he's going to have to throw punches with Shakur Stevenson. He's going to have to mix it up. He's going to have to try to not let Shakur set the pace. If Teofimo lets Shakur set the pace, it's going to be a wrap. It's going to be a wrap. But if he can do like he did against Lomachenko, and we get that version of Teofimo Lopez, there is a good probability he can do what we think or what people think that he won't do. So, we're going to see, man. It's going to be a good one. Now, what do you think, Mike Ware, about the fight on the 10th Ajit Cabiel versus Damian Kimba. What's your prediction on that one? Also, what is your prediction for January 24th? Jermaine Franklin versus Moses and Tuma. What is your predictions on that? Mike Ware. Absolutely, Mike Ware. He's gonna have to let it go. That's like Roy Jones said in the interview. He's gonna have to gamble. He can't be too tentative. If he sits there overthinking in that ring and he can't make adjustments, it's gonna be slow for him. It's gonna be slow. It's gonna be real slow for Teofimo Lopez on January 31st if he's too tentative, if he's overthinking too much. It's gonna be slow. Mike Ware, you said Cabiel. More than likely, Atoma. We will see if the power is real. Absolutely. And this is going to be the perfect fight because we know Jermaine Franklin is not no pushover. We know Jermaine Franklin shows he got a good chin. We know he has pretty good cardio and conditioning. And Jermaine Franklin he will go in the trenches. He will fight in close proximity. He will fight in the phone booth when he fights Moses Atuma. He's not backing down. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. If Moses Atuma power is what we may be overlooking or whatever. Maybe his power is more than what we think it is. He's definitely got the slickness to him. Mike Ware, you said remember T.O. had problems with Martin. Yeah, Sandor Martin. He did give Teofimo Lopez issues. I agree. He did have a southpaw stance, Sandor Martin. He did. He absolutely did. And Jermaine Ortiz. But with Jermaine Ortiz, to me, he could have made a better account of himself. I'm not saying he fought a terrible fight, but it's like Jermaine Ortiz, he needed to press the action a little more. He was on the back foot a little too much for me. He should have been throwing and letting his hands go a little bit more because he could have potentially beat Teofimo on the scorecards. And if they rematched, if he made adjustments, he could potentially beat Teofimo, Jermaine Ortiz. But in that particular fight, he was just not busy enough. Sandor Martin, he's not near as good as Shakur Stevenson as far as being a pure boxer. So I do have to agree if Sandor Martin gave him issues. But, styles make fights too. You know what I'm saying? Although Shakur is a southpaw and Sandor Martin is a southpaw, Shakur has to establish respect early. He has to make Teofimo respect his punching power. And punching power is something we don't necessarily always associate with Shakur Stevenson. Maybe his power is underrated. Maybe we don't give him credit in that regard. You know, only the person who's going to be in the ring with him actually knows how powerful or how impactful a punch from Shakur Stevenson actually is. We talk about the fact he has somewhat fragile hands. So, I mean, that could also play a part in this fight. And anything that T.O. can see as a weak link, if there is any weakness in Shakur, he needs to capitalize on it. So I'm pretty sure he'll be doing his film studies. He'll be trying to watch all the times that Shakur looked vulnerable. I mean, it's going to be a good fight. It's definitely going to be a good fight. Now, as far as that undercard, Mike Ware, what do you think? Carlos Adames versus Elmo Williams. What do you think? What's your prediction there? What is your prediction for? Let me see. Let me go back on that undercard. Shushu Carrington and Jermaine Ortiz. I'm sorry, not Shushu. Shushu Carrington versus Carlos Castro, and Shushu Carrington will fight Carlos Castro, but Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz. What is your prediction? Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz. Mike Ware, you said if he hurts his hand, it's T.O.'s chance. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So we gonna see. But the Shushu Carrington versus Castro, do you have a prediction on that one? Do you have a prediction for Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz? Carlos Adames versus Elmo Williams. Do you have any predictions? And please, y'all, please hit that thumbs up. Mike Ware, you said Adames. I need to watch Castro. Keyshawn should win. Okay, yeah. When we get off this show, when I get off of here, I'll send you some highlights or one of the recent fights of Castro. But he's had like I want to say he had like 33 fights, and Shushu Carrington has only had 16 fights. But sometimes experience matters in certain times. Um, it could be a styles make fights situation. I want to say thank you to everybody who pulled up here tonight and showed your support. Everybody who's ever shown your support at any time for a Ring Walk Boxing podcast. I really appreciate you guys showing your unwavering support. I will be going live every Sunday. Today is Sunday, like today, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the USA. Like I say again, shout outs to everybody, Cincinnati, Ohio, right here at home, Cincinnati, Ohio, USA. Shout outs to Zone 15, to my Zone 15 family. Much love. And like I said, follow me on my Twitter page, because that Twitter page is going to be me taking all my content from YouTube. I'm going to put it all up on the Twitter page. So this is what I'm going to be doing, is taking this show right here and uploading it and putting it on Twitter. So I would like for y'all to follow me there. If you have a Twitter page, please follow me there. I really appreciate it. I will bounce on IG every now and then, so I will be on Instagram and on Facebook, but I'm going to try to be on Twitter a lot more throughout the week. And then maybe on the weekends, I will pop up on Facebook and Twitter more so on the weekend. But like during the weekdays, I'm going to be on Twitter more. So if you want to interact, you can inbox me on Twitter anytime. I'm a very, personable guy. If you want to talk boxing, hit the inbox on Twitter. We can talk boxing. Also, in the description area down below, there is a link tree. So you will see on there, I got the merch, I got the hats. This is the gray hat, the gray and black. I got the solid blue Ring Walk Boxing Podcast hats. They got if you go online store, it's a lot of different colors on there. Colors you've never seen before. I got the hunter green t-shirts. I got blue. They got the pink. They got the purple shirts. They got the hoodies. So that's what we got here at Ring Walk Boxing Podcast, y'all. Just make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this, please. Sweet Jones, yes, sir. I appreciate you, Cuzzo, for sure. So, y'all, we're going to wrap this segment up for the night. And I will try to get back on here throughout the week. Maybe on hump day, maybe Wednesday, maybe. But I'll get back on here once or twice this week, throughout the week. I do have surgery on January the 14th is my surgery. So I will be on bed rest for like 10 days from January the 14th to like January the 24th. I'll need 10 days of bed rest. But I'll still try to do my best to get on live in some type of way. I'm going to still reach out to people. I'm not going to let this surgery hold me down. I'm going to still try to interact here on YouTube and on social media with my boxing family. So just say a prayer for me January the 14th on my upcoming surgery. And all is well. Cuzzo, Rico Carter, you said, I'm not familiar with Usyk. Oh, he's a bad boy. He's out of Ukraine. When I get a chance, I'll send you some highlights. Usyk's a bad boy, though, Cuzzo. He's a bad boy. He's a bad boy for sure. All right, everyone. Y'all have a safe and a blessed night. And like I said, I'll be back here next Sunday, and I'll try to drop through on the weekdays too, what I call my pop-up lives. And like I said, I couldn't have done it without the support of you guys out here. So y'all be safe. Have a safe week. And I will catch y'all on the next round. Peace.